low around 38. South-southwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. As we look to Thursday, a slight chance of rain showers with partly sunny skies and a high near 57. Moving into Thursday night, showers and thunderstorms are likely with a low around 34. Currently, it's 51 and clear. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. Each night, the master of disguise stalks the darkness, outwitting criminals with chilling certainty and supernatural suspense.
You really should believe in ghosts now, Commissioner. And in shadows.
Join the shadows for classic radio drama filled with mystery, menace, and intrigue. Nightly from 10 to 10:30 p.m. Part of late night radio here on WRMN.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a political talk show. I am David Tees here on Candidate Tuesday on WRMN 1410 AM, downtown Elgin, Studio 14. What a beautiful day it was today. We had great weather, a lot of wind, but it was great weather. Last 3 days was just great, everybody. It was a lot of beautiful weather. I wish I would have got out and golf any one of those days, but some of those times you just don't get that. So you got to do what you got to do. But tomorrow, it's going to be, let me see, a low of tonight, actually, of 34 degrees. Tomorrow, we're going to hit a high of 56 degrees with a 65% chance of, it looks like a thunderstorm or some rain. Then 33 degrees for that Thursday night. And then we go right back down to winter, everybody, for the next quite a few days. So you knew it wasn't going to go away. I knew it wasn't going to go away. So, I mean, what do you do? So, but today is Candidate Tuesday, and we have a great candidate in the studios today, and let me introduce her to you. Today, we have Jennifer Davis for Congress, putting families and freedom first. Join Jennifer's campaign today in Illinois 8th District to keep families safe from government outreach and to protect our freedom. Welcome to WRMN today, Jennifer.
Thank you, David, for having me here, and thank you to everybody who's tuning in. It's exciting to be here, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
Yes, and it was a great day to be out there door knocking and talking to people. And I see that she doesn't have dirt on her forehead. Everybody, it's Ash Wednesday today, and you got your little ash put on your forehead.
There's not too much of it left, but there's a little bit left there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
right. I kind of joked around when she came in. I said, "Hey, you got dirt on your forehead." So, hey, if anybody wants to call in and ask Miss Davis any questions, feel free to call in at 847-931-1410, or you could text us at 505-926-1410, or, hey, you could do a comment on YouTube. If you're watching her on YouTube, feel free to make a comment. And if you want to subscribe, it costs nothing. Become a subscriber to WRMN 1410 on YouTube. So let's get this party started here today, Jennifer. So you're running for 8th District Congress. And is this your first time ever running for any position?
This is. So I am a newbie to politics. I am truly a political outsider. Have decided to set aside what I was doing in life and get involved, and at a level that obviously most people wouldn't take the risk at, but it just felt like it was the right time and right opportunity. So I'm excited to do it.
And you just jumped right into Congress. Hey, I'm not going to start with small government. I'm jumping into the big show. I want to go to Washington, and I'm great. I admire you for that because when I get out there and vote in the primaries, I'm going to vote for you because you show a lot of leadership and a lot of qualities. And I've listened to you speak a lot of times. And if anybody wants to know more about Jennifer, you can call in and ask questions and all that stuff. So let's tell everybody a little bit about you as a person, where you're from, kids, family, really quickly.
I do have to correct you quickly because you said I want to go to Washington. I think I have to go to
Yeah,
Washington.
you have to go to Washington.
I don't think anybody wants to go to Washington.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's a swamp over there. So
look at her. She's ready to go. You got your suitcase packed already?
Yeah, I have. I went and looked at where I was going to live, so I've taken this seriously. But no, in complete seriousness. So I've spent most of my, I guess, all of my adult life really in the district. So District 8 is a very gerrymandered district. It goes all the way from O'Hare down, follows basically I-90 out to Hampshire and zigs and zags in between and catches most cities, most like St. Charles and Schaumburg and Elk Grove and, Palatine, Des Plaines, all over the place. So when I decided to run, I really had been motivated in this by the voter apathy that exists in this state. And one of the things that I learned was that 47% of our state votes conservatively, but we're only represented 17%. And so that was kind of the trigger that motivated me to get off the bench and go do something about it. So, what was I doing before this? I have a crazy life. I've certainly lived the American dream, and I'm really proud to say that. My husband and I started a software company when I was 17, so it was 1988, so it was before software was an industry or it wasn't a college degree, and I certainly couldn't vote. I couldn't rent a car. I couldn't buy a drink for a client, so it was a pretty crazy time. And we started a software company, and we were helping tradesmen learn how to modernize their businesses and scale their businesses. And, I always say that I taught plumbers and electricians how to use a tablet in the same way that they use a wrench to make a lot of money. And so we watched over a third of our customers create first generation wealth. Mm-hmm. And, so I got to be in the blue collar trades and in technology. So it was a pretty sweet gig. And then outside of that, I am a crazy mom of 10 kids. So we have a very, very full and busy life, but a new empty nester. And I have to say I'm enjoying that. That's been really nice not to have to make dinner or think about a basketball game or any of those things. But it's given me the opportunity to take this on and, run for Illinois' 8th Congressional. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Wow. You're almost like that movie Cheaper by the Dozen there with, what was it, Steve Martin there? Yeah. So probably your favorite movie now since you got 10 kids. That's a lot of kids. And, well, that's great because I got a picture of them up here. So if you guys ever want to know more about Jennifer, you have a website that people can we'll talk about it here. And at the bottom of the hour, we'll get that out there. So you have a website. You want to tell people about your website and how to reach out to you?
Yeah, so votejenniferdavis.com is the website. And on that website, you can do all sorts of things. Of course, when we think about running for office, there's three things that are valuable. It's the votes, it's the volunteers, and then, of course, it's the donations. So this race will probably be somewhere between $6 and $8 million. So it's an incredibly expensive proposition to get involved in. And, outside of that, our goal is to touch 84,000 voters 7 times. So, when you think about that, that's 84,000 times of door knocking, of phone calls, of text messages. So please answer your phone when I call. And it's really me. It's not a robo. A lot of people think it's AI, and it's not. I spend about 24 hours a week, every single week on the phone, just calling voters and learning about the district and meeting with. One of the things that's unique about our campaign is that we have a goal of meeting with every single mayor in the district. I've met with a substantial quantity of them, both sides of the aisle, to just learn what's important to the people. If I'm going to be representing 760,000 people, it's really important to me to know, who I'm representing and what's important to them.
Wow. I'm also seeing here that you have you wrote a book, a best-selling book. Uh, we'll talk about that in a second, because every time I interview any candidate, no matter what position they're running for, there's always a story. Everybody has a really interesting lives going on, and you didn't know about them, and you thought you knew them until you find out, wow, now you wrote a book. We had another candidate out here who actually has wrote songs, and it's always amazing to find out new things. Tell us a little bit about your book, and then we'll get back to your life here.
Yeah, so living exponentially in life and business is really kind of the handbook to how to live in a way similar to what we did. So, what I have figured out is many people and many entrepreneurs trade joy for success. And I always say they pay for their success in the currency of joy. And so, one of the things that I always did was made sure that that didn't happen in our lives. And I'm not gonna BS you. I mean, it was hard. Like,
Mm-hmm.
raising all those kids, running a business, traveling extensively. There were many, many hard, long days. But what was important was that we always kept the priority of making sure that what we did with joy. And so the book talks about how to do that both in business and in life, and how, if you think about, people talk about their work life and their home life. Well, I'm going to break it to you. I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You only have one life.
Yeah.
And so people, once you start seeing your life as a single entity, suddenly the conflict that happens between what you do personally and what you do professionally goes away. And so that's really what the book is about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's talking a little bit about my journey and leading through COVID. We sold majority interest in our business in 2019. Had this grand dream of sailing off into the sunset, and tonight you might hear about my camper van if you haven't heard about it already. But I was going to buy a camper van and ride off into the sunset, and I was going to stay on as CEO for 6 months. Unfortunately, almost 6 months to the day, COVID happened,
Yeah.
and I ended up staying on in an operating role until January of 23. When I was going to buy that camper van, sadly, my mom was diagnosed with a terminal illness, so I became her end-of-life caregiver for a couple of years, and then I was going to ride off into the sunset with my camper van. And then our daughter's cross-country and track coach quit, so I got roped back into that for a couple of years, so
Mm-hmm.
that ended in May. And then in August, I became an empty nester, and I was going to ride off to the sunset in the
In the
camper
camper.
van, which didn't happen because now I'm running for office. So maybe I'll take the camper van to DC.
Well, you could also get the camper van and after you win the primaries and wrap it up with your basic Jennifer Davis for Congress and drive around
We could do,
and fulfill your dream driving around the state of Illinois,
we could do that.
in the 8th district.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Well, funny, we were laughing about it. One of the ideas that we had is, during COVID, there was over 800,000 people exited our state. And
Mm-hmm.
I always say that, our kids have been evicted from our state by the politicians stealing our vote, stealing our voice, and stealing our opportunity, and making our state just unaffordable.
Right.
And so, I keep saying, like, our kids are being evicted from the state of Illinois. Well, during COVID, 800,000 people left the state of Illinois, and with them, they took their wealth and they took their opportunities. And so I've joked that I was going to take that camper van around Florida and go welcome them all back and call it the Illinois Eviction Tour of all of the wealthy people that have left Illinois and gone
Mm-hmm.
to places that are much more affordable.
Yeah, I get that. So let's say you win the Congress. November, you're out there and you're going to Washington and all that stuff. And I always like to ask a lot of candidates this question. And I know a lot of Congress people have to get into a committee. What committee would you like to be a part of? I mean,
Yeah.
it has a lot to do with your skills and your knowledge of a lot of stuff. But which would you be passionate about?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that in a couple of different ways because I think I've spent a lot of time on this, and I think you probably know
Yeah.
that. Before I jump into anything, I like to do a lot of research. So I spent about 2 months making sure this was a winnable race, understanding what the demographics were and what the pathways to victory are. And when you run a software company for 30 years and you look at data for 30 years, you know that, the opportunity comes that way. What I realized when I was looking into running for Congress is that I know that I want to make a difference. So I wanted to be in roles that would help me do that. And I've written a white paper on something called the Digital Dome, which is the equivalent of, when you think about our military right now, our federal government's primary responsibility is to protect its people. And our military is the best in the world, and it does a pretty darn good job of protecting us from sea to shining sea. And, I have a grandson who's in the Navy doing that for us. So I am really proud of that. But what we don't have is, in spite of the fact that they are doing that, we are being invaded through our devices in our kids' in our kids' bedrooms on their devices digitally. And so everything that I am fixated on will be surrounding, digital security around all of the things with Bitcoin, blockchain technology, crypto, all of the places where I really can make a substantial difference. And so, that's kind of what I'm fixated on. That's what I'm focused on when I get to Congress.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's
So,
it. Yeah.
and you're lucky that you're in well, not really lucky. Well, it is because you only got 3 primary candidates in this March 17th election coming up here. But on the other side of the fence in Congress District 8, there are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people running on a Democrat ticket for Congress because Raja is taking a shot at Dick Durbin's spot in the Senate. But wow, I mean that's a large number of people on the other side. So cut your blessings. There's only 3, and we don't even want to talk about the U.S. Senate race. How many people are in there?
Yeah.
But yeah. So a lot of big questions that a lot of Americans have, and we're going to get through this right now. And one of the biggest questions that people have on their minds I'm sure you've been asked this 1,000 times, and I think the number one topic is the economy and taxes.
Mhm.
How do you relate to the voters about your opinion on what could be done about that? What should be done about that?
Right. I think getting people outside of politics into politics is one of the only ways that we can truly change the trajectory. We need builders in public office. And, people look to government to solve problems. Government only creates problems. Government adds cost to everything they do. No one calls the government for a cheaper, better solution.
Hmm.
And so really when I think about what opportunity do we have to make a difference, it is reducing the impact that government has on people and putting people's freedom first. Freedom doesn't mean taking it from one person to give it to another. Freedom means allowing people to live their own American dreams. My kids can't do what we did in this
Mm-mm.
state. There's no way. And it's wrong. And I think about all these parents out there, they want to put their kids in the best schools and send them to the best soccer camps and all of these things. And yet the one area that matters the most, we are leaving them with unsurmountable debt.
Right.
And we can't keep spending their money solving whatever it is that we want to do. So, I will be fixated on reducing taxes, reducing debt, and the only way to do that is to reduce government.
Yep. And stop wasteful spending. I mean, we're seeing today with all of the wasteful spending, wow, with what's going on in Minnesota, and the same thing in Ohio and California, and we're finding out that money is just being handed to, not even being checked into,
Mhm.
and we need to have accountability as to where our money's going because, like you just said, our children are going to be left with debt like
Mhm.
no tomorrow, and they can't even afford a house nowadays
No.
because the economy has driven prices up so high with food, rent, interest rates,
Mhm.
it's just out of control.
All of these free things cost a lot of money.
Yes, it does. And we got to protect our children and our grandchildren in the future if they wanted to have a good life. And that's why you're going to
Mhm.
Congress to provide
Yeah.
a chance for that good life for them.
Right. Absolutely. And I look at our next generation, and we are giving them something so much less than what we were given, and that just isn't going to be the legacy that I'm going to leave behind. And maybe I won't be able to make that much change, but I'm certainly going to die trying because
Yeah,
it's just worth it.
definitely. The next question a lot of people have and the voters have is safety. Safety in America. We now know that our borders are closed.
Hmm.
We have no more bad people coming in, and I know people are out there protesting ICE and giving a hard time. But a lot of people are misinformed about the fact that they're out there only to get the illegal, undocumented, bad people out of here, the
Hmm.
criminals. I know I don't want one living next to me when I have children and all that. And I'm sure everybody in America feels that way. But that's just a different safety issue. The other safety issue that people have is where we're taking away money for defunding police. I mean,
Hmm.
they want to defund the police. We need to fund the police and keep our streets safer. Crime is down right now, thank God. But who knows what the future lies? And having police and law enforcement and making sure they're getting the funding from the federal government. So
Hmm.
are you enforced? I mean, you believe you want to keep that going, right?
I mean, I'm an absolute back the blue. I have a son and a son-in-law in federal law enforcement, so this is really, really personal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald Reagan once said that we are a country of immigrants, but we're also a country of laws, and they need to peacefully coexist. If people don't like the laws, absolutely, our government is designed to change laws, but it isn't designed to just break laws discriminately wherever you want. The ICE agents and all of the people that are out there, they're working hard to protect us. And it's not a perfect situation. Nobody is saying that it is. But what we have to do is we have to enforce the laws that we have.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't want to enforce the laws that we have, then we need to change the laws. But it isn't, going out. I know recently Dundee Middle School, I don't know if you heard that, a bunch of 11-year-olds were allowed to leave the school to protest ICE. Well, one of my friend's daughter went out and she thought she was protesting ice, like, ice in your cup.
Okay.
And I'm thinking these kids are being used as
Exactly.
political pawns. And, anyone who's known me personally knows there's nothing more important to me than these kids and the families that they're from. And families know what's best for these kids. And
Mm-hmm.
that's who has to be in charge.
My 13-year-old is in middle school. He's in eighth grade, and they had their U46 is the school district around here, and they had their walkouts. It seemed like each day was a different school. Like it was so choreographed as to what day they were going to do this. But one thing I like about his middle school is that uh, the day came, and believe it or not, it's a lot of Hispanics in that school that he's in, and half of the kids stayed in the classrooms.
Good for
And they
them.
were encouraged by a couple teachers that said, "Hey, you should go out there and protest." And he was like, "Nope, it's not my battle, it's not my fight." And he stayed in the classroom. And you know what? The most amazing thing, why I love the principal at his school, she's hard nosed, and she doesn't put up with that stuff. She sent a message out, an email out to all the parents. All the kids will be marked absent,
Yeah,
unexcused absent. They will face punishment, suspension. Kids that were in sports that walked out are
good
not going
for
to be
them.
playing in sports the next game and stuff like that. So she actually, and you know what? Some of the teachers are going to get a little bit of reprimanded onto that too. So
Right.
yeah, so that's good. She says we're here for education.
Correct. They are not there to put
Right.
their political views on these kids.
Exactly.
They are there to teach, and that's what we should be fixated on.
Especially with the 35%
Yeah.
proficiency rate in the state of Illinois
Yeah.
schools
Yeah.
and the
Last
acceptable.
uh last weekend I was knocking doors, so I personally have knocked on over 2,000 doors. So I
Mm-hmm.
think last weekend in Elgin was my 2,000th door, and at that door was a woman who is she works in the schools and does hearing and vision testing. And she said the number of fourth graders that she comes across who don't know how to spell their last name, don't know how old they are, don't know their
Right.
birthday, don't know the basics that they are not being educated in. And she said spelling is out the window. They can't spell when the passing grades are at 28%. 28%. I
Yeah.
like we have to be fixated on educating these kids.
Well, we're going to get ready for a commercial break. So before we go to that, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody your website again? Because we're going to embed it into people's heads.
Yeah.
You have to know about Jennifer Davis. I always tell everybody, Jennifer, that research your candidate, know who they are, know what their beliefs are. So that way you're just not picking a box. You're picking the person that's going to represent you in Washington.
Right. And it's votejenniferdavis.com, just like it sounds. So jenniferdavis.com, votejenniferdavis.com.
There you go. So I would get on a computer during this commercial break coming up here, and I would look her up so you get to know more about her. And if you have, feel free, you can email her. If you want her sign in front of your yard after you hear this interview, and you say, "I like this lady. I want her sign in front of my yard." Reach out to her, and somebody will put a sign in the yard. Uh, or you can contact any of your local townships in the 8th District, and she we'll even make sure we get signs out there too. That's our job.
Yep.
The township
We
people.
have 2,500 signs to put out, so
There you
we
go.
have a lot of signs.
Yeah, and I'll give you some tips where to put some too. And you got to give me some signs. I'll get them out
Okay.
there for you too. We are the working bees. That's what PCs do in township. So we're going to get to this commercial here. We'll be back after a little bit. So stay tuned for the second half of a political talk show here on WRMN 1410 AM. I am David Tees, and I'm along in the studios here with Jennifer Davis, running for 8th Congressional District for Congress. So stay tuned. We'll see you back here in a few.
With your news flash, I'm Ryan Gatenby. Brought to you by KFC. Illinois has erased more than $1.1 billion in medical debt through a state relief program. Officials say hundreds of thousands of residents had bills wiped out, averaging about $1,200 per person, with some receiving far more. The Illinois Federation of Teachers is urging state leaders to fully fund education in the next budget. The union says schools and universities remain underfunded statewide and is pushing for a billionaire tax to raise new revenue. Illinois State Senator Neil Anderson is defending a bill to ban abortion and classify it as homicide with no exceptions for rape or incest. Republican leaders say they do not support the measure. Anderson has stepped down from leadership posts as the proposal faces sharp criticism. I'm Ryan Gatenby with your news flash.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Are you dreaming of a getaway? Want to leave the stress of daily life behind? Whether it's a relaxing cruise or an adventurous land escape, planning the perfect vacation doesn't have to be a hassle. At Cruises International, they specialize in vacation destinations, land and sea, making your dreams come true. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, Cruises International isn't just about booking travel. They're your personal concierge, trusted travel advisor, and advocate. Your preferences are unique, and they'll take the time to understand exactly what you're looking for. From personalized service to their global network of specialists, they ensure that your vacation is tailor-made just for you. It's time to plan the vacation of a lifetime. Call 800-255-7447. That's 800-255-7447 today and speak to a cruise and vacation expert. Cruises International. It's time to set sail to your dream destination.
This is Will Walker with your Fox Valley forecast. Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 38. South-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow brings a slight chance of rain showers, partly sunny with a high near 57. Showers and thunderstorms likely before midnight, then rain overnight with a low around 34. Currently, it is 50 degrees and clear. With your Fox Valley forecast, I'm Will Walker on WRMN, the talk of the town.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to a political talk show with me, David Tees, here at WRMN Radio, 1410 AM, downtown Elgin, Studio 14. We have a caller. We'll get to you in a second. Caller here in the house for political candidate Tuesday. We have Jennifer Davis running for 8th District Congress. Welcome back after the commercial break. And why don't we just go ahead and take this caller really quick. Hello,
Hi,
caller.
Dave.
Yes.
Hi, Dave. It's Michelle Bettag calling.
Hey, Michelle. How you doing?
I am good. I am just calling to let all of your listeners know that this Saturday, the GOP, the Kane GOP, will be having their annual Lincoln Dinner. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. It is actually in Elgin at the Holiday Inn and Airport Road. And we are having Chicago Flips Red as a guest speaker, along with Christina McCloy. Our chairman, Kathy Salvi, will be in attendance, along with 3 out of the 4 governor candidates. So you will get a lot of exposure to a lot of the candidates that are going to be running the cycle, along with the governor candidates. So the tickets are available at Kane GOP. It's 6 p.m. this Saturday night, February 21st.
And at what time does that event start?
6 p.m. So we have a VIP ticket on the GOP website and the Kane GOP website, and there you can meet the guest speakers and kind of just hang out with them at 5:30. Otherwise, the general admission is open at 6 p.m. And we're going to have a nice dinner, and it's basically a big, huge birthday party for America.
Yes.
250 years. So that is what we're celebrating, and, we're going to try to keep, talking to a minimal, and so we can, hang out, have fun, have a birthday party. We're going to have some great music, and it'll be a nice time.
And some great food. Always got to have some great food.
Yes, great food's always a plus.
Do you have any questions
So
for
yeah,
Jen?
we're having good attendance. So if you can make it, let us know. If you have any questions, there's a contact information that you can fill out, and we will reach out to you. Otherwise, you can just go ahead on that link and buy your ticket.
You give them that link one more time, so in case people are
Well,
ready to
it's
get a
at the
pen.
Kane- It's just at the Kane GOP. Kane County GOP. If you Google that, you can go on the website, and there's tickets that pop right up.
And
I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there too.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Do you have a question for Jennifer before you go?
I know she's working hard, and she's doing a great job, and I'm excited to see her on Saturday. She's a great sponsor for this event, and I am looking forward to seeing her there. And a lot of people have been meeting Jennifer and have had great feedback from the Kane GOP.
Great. Well, thanks for cluing us in on that, and let's hope that we'll get that more out here on the radio. But thank you for calling us and let us know all about this, Michelle.
All right. Thanks, David.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Michelle.
That was actually Michelle Bettag.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a great lady. She's running this, and she's really working hard to get this event up and running. She's actually busted her butt out there for everybody here. So if anybody else wants to call in, please call in at 847-931-1410 or text us at 505-926-1410. Or if you're watching us live on YouTube, you can make a comment, become a subscriber. Just go to youtube.com and become a subscriber here on WRMN Radio. It costs nothing. We're not going to bother you and all that good stuff. So back with that, let's get back to you and your candidacy. So Jennifer Davis running for District 8 for Congress. Got a primary coming up, which our primary will be on March 17th, which is St. Patty's Day. Get out and vote. If you got a mail-in ballot, do your mail-in ballot. Get that out there, because you got to remember, the post office rules have changed on mail-in ballots, so they're actually recommending that you get those things done at least 6 to 9 days before March 17th. And early voting starts 2 weeks prior to that at a lot of the polling places. Like, for example, in Elgin, the Elgin Township building will be early voting for 2 weeks, Monday through Saturdays. And at the Elgin Library, the Gailboard Library, the same thing. But early voting has started, and if you go to the Kane County Clerk's office, you can find there's only limited areas at this moment, like the Kane County Clerk's office. You can go down and do your early voting if you're a person that wants to get out there and not, get caught up in all the hustle and bustle on election day. Get out and vote, everybody, because this is important. You're actually picking your future. You're picking your candidates. You're trying to get the right people in there to protect your children, your grandchildren, and yourself, to make the economy better, to make great laws out there, because that's what Congress does. They make laws.
Yep, they do. They absolutely do. And I just want to reiterate one of the reason what motivated me was our voter apathy. And so I just cannot encourage people enough. Please get out and get engaged. And get engaged doesn't mean just voting. Voting is the most important thing. But being a volunteer, it takes a lot of work to knock on 84,000 doors, believe
Yeah.
it or not. That's a lot. And all of the phone calls and all of the text messages, your candidates really, really need you. And so anything you can do, it allows good candidates to be a part of this process. And that's what we want, right? We want the best quality candidates out, and we can control that destiny by just getting engaged.
Yes, and if you want to contribute to her campaign, you can mail contributions to Jennifer. Attention, Jennifer Davis for Congress. You can mail that to 514 Market Loop Road of West Dundee, Illinois 60118. Or if you want to sign, reach out. What's your website again?
The website is votejenniferdavis.com, and you can click on a link right in there to get involved, and it will give you an option to choose a sign. And if you choose a sign, we can come out and install it, or you can stop by our office or any one of the township offices and pick up a sign. We've got 2,500 signs. We've done a really cool interactive map because I love technology. So we've done a really cool interactive map to kind of show where all of our signs are and what we're doing with them. And we've had a few vandalized, so that's been new news for me. I've never even knew people did that, but apparently they do. But we are winning far more than we're losing, so that's okay. So
Right.
they can do whatever they want.
And looking at your website here, I got it pulled up here. There's actually home, about, contact, issues, get involved, event requests, and donate today. So look up her website. We'll give it to you one more time at the bottom of the hour. Let's go back to Washington. One of the things about it is a lot of people with this ICE thing going on, and people are misinformed that they're just grabbing people off the streets or just deporting everybody, which is, to me, it's not true. Okay, you got to really do your research onto this, people. Don't just pay attention to one outlet. Look at multiple outlets and then decide for yourself. Just don't go by what the rumors are out there and what you're reading on social media. A lot of this stuff is AI generated. A lot of this stuff isn't true. Some of this stuff is true, but one of the things, what do you think about in the future, and sitting with colleagues on both sides of the fence and come up with immigration reform? I mean, a lot of these people came to this country for a better life, like back in the 1900s after the wars, and people came back and they built America. They were immigrants from everywhere around the world, literally around the world, and they build America with their bare hands. So, I mean, one of the biggest things I'm actually in favor for is that people, yeah, let's get documented. But would you think that there is a good immigration reform plan that we can do to make them legal citizens? A couple of topics, and then I may weigh in on a couple of topics here too.
Absolutely. So, I mentioned before, we are a country of immigrants. Immigrants have built this country. Immigrants are, what we've relied upon for decades. And so what has happened over the last few years is, the uncontrolled, undocumented, unmanaged immigration is just, it's unsustainable for our country. And so, in my previous life, so when we were running our software company, we had an office in India, and we had, we brought people in legally and created American citizens. And it's something that I'm really, really proud of, because they are, they are now a part of our American dream, and it doesn't get better than that. But we have to put a program in place that manages them, so to make it easier, because I can tell you firsthand, that was back before the internet was the internet, and I had to
Mhm.
call and order a packet and type it out with my typewriter, and I did those things, and it was really challenging and took years. And it just shouldn't be that way. We have to come up with something better. We also have to deal with the people that are already here, because yes, they were escaping other things. They were escaping where they were at, and there are solutions. We have to work together, and it has to be bipartisan. We can't just
Right.
shove something down their throats. We have to work together with the other side of the aisle to make it happen.
Right. And like I said, I have a family that I know that have been here for quite a long, and they're from New Delhi,
Hmm.
and they 19 years, and they're trying to get their citizenship. That's something is wrong with the system.
Right.
We have more IRS agents than we do people trying to get the process of documenting and making uh, uh, immigration easier and get these people on their way to citizenship, because there's some great people that want to live the dream.
Right.
Like, for example, we need to have that sped up where you live in this country for 3 years, you have a job, you get no benefits, okay, you commit no crimes, and then after that you apply for your uh, citizenship, and it should be done right away.
Right.
It should happen. And the other idea that I have came up with is like, especially a lot of these dreamers that are going to be, that have been brought over the borders, not against their will, but came with their families and all that stuff. When they turn 18, they join our military,
Hmm.
and you serve for 4 years, you get your citizenship.
Right. Yeah, I mean that is one idea that certainly is an option. I
Right.
think when we look at all of the different scenarios, and the problem with immigration is every single situation is personal, right? It's somebody's family, it's somebody's life, and we're all empathetic to it. We
Right.
can we can imagine their lives. I've spent a great deal of time in India, and we live, America has its problems, but it is the best place on earth, and that is why people want to come here. And so, we have to do two things. We have to support the American dream,
Mhm.
and we have to create a pathway in for people from out of country. So one of the areas that I think really needs desperate reform is there's so many types of visas that students come in on, and various different people come in on, and there's no pathway to citizenship. So the only way for them to become citizens is to break the law and stay,
Right.
and then come in another way. There's also, the whole idea of like getting married to somebody. Well, I know a dozen people that have, they've gone through, it's taken them decades to become citizens. And, that also is broken because lives still go on in those decades while they're trying to sort it all out. So, it's a complicated answer, certainly. And I think it's one that it takes a lot of people's input. And we have to have bumpers to it. But I think where we can start is immigration reform going forward, and then start to figure out what we're doing, with what we've already got.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, exactly. So, the other question that a lot of people actually end up having with we touched about the economy, we touched about immigration, we touched about crime here. I mean, right now the government is on a partial shutdown, okay, which has affected other organizations like the Coast Guard and ICE and all that stuff. But when we had our last shutdown, do you think that Congress could make laws? Okay. Do you think that when these government shutdowns happen, nobody in Congress and Senate get paid until you fix the problem, right?
Oh, 100%, 200%. Is there a 200%? What people don't realize is when government shutdowns happen, like, my son and son-in-law who are federal law enforcement, they don't get paid during the shutdown.
Hmm.
And then when they go back to work, they all get paid. So the only thing that happened is the taxpayers got ripped off out of services. So yes, it's unfortunate for the people that they don't get paid while the government is shut down. But the taxpayers got no services during that time. They got
Hmm.
nothing for that money, and they end up paying it. And the only ones that do get paid are, your lawmakers, who are the ones that are creating the problem in the first place. So I just think it is a no-go. They should absolutely not be paid if they're allowing the government to get shut down. And maybe it's like private sector. You don't
Yep.
get your bonus when the ship goes sideways. They don't. Maybe they get penalized if they let the government get shut down.
Right, and it's just like a auto worker union. I mean, they go on strike. They don't get paid until the problem gets solved,
Right.
and that's. But rank and file doesn't really care because they're pushing for more benefits, more pay for the workers. But then again, they're still getting paid while the workers aren't,
Right.
and
Right.
and that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I just think I don't know why our lawmakers are getting paid when, the constituents who are, they work for them. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're supposed to be working for them and they aren't getting government services. And then the people providing those services, when they're a mandatory reporter, they have to report regardless of whether or not they're getting paid. So, that is just absolutely wrong and we need to fix it.
Right, and also along with term limits, a lot of these people have been in there way too long, and they lose touch of reality about the taxpayers. They lose touch about how it affects everybody, and they don't. And it seems like it doesn't bother them because it's not their money; they're getting paid,
Right.
and they're and some of the stuff that they're pushing for, I won't say it, but it's BS, So and it goes on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, this is not partisan. I mean,
No,
it is absolutely a bipartisan problem. And, when you think about the term limits are a must have, it's one of the reasons, it's one of my platform issues is I'm here to inspire other people outside of politics to get engaged and get involved. And, that is my single goal outcome. I certainly wasn't aspiring to this, but if I can inspire other people to get involved, then I have met my goal. And that has to happen through term limits. If I think it's about 97% of people get reelected every single time. So how does the newbie get involved? You don't. There's no
right.
there's no opportunity at 97%. And by the way, in Congress, they are running for reelection every 2 years. And I have a good friend of mine who's in Congress. He kicked off his reelection campaign 90 days into his freshman term. So they spend a year and one
Right.
and 3/4 years running for office and through 90 days working for you. And, we just have to change that. We have to extend the terms and put limits in place to solve that. I think also alongside of that has to be campaign finance reform. I have had my eyes wide open in what has gone on, and it is criminal the way that businesses can tell employees whether they can or can't donate to campaigns, and
Yeah.
that information being public and employees being chastised, and um, it just shouldn't be. And then of course the whole idea of the limits really create opportunity, or they remove opportunities for grassroots support of campaigns. And there's just so many things. I could spend another hour
Yeah.
talking about.
Oh,
But
and we only get an hour. But,
yeah.
this is a great milestone for you because when I ran for Kane County Board, I was on the ballot for the primaries for PC and for county board, along with Donald Trump. And then
Oh,
I was back on the ballot for my county board in November with Donald Trump again. So to me, that was a milestone. You, on the other hand, are on a milestone because you are on the ballot on our 250th birthday year.
so great. It is.
That is got to be something
Yeah.
for you to
Yeah.
always remember and
Yeah.
treasure that on our birthday year that I ran for office.
Yeah. No, it's I am a proud American. I love the red, white, and blue. Although I am kind of sick of wearing red, white, and blue. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never
Oh,
worn
you
so
ain't
much.
seen nothing yet. It's coming all
Yeah.
summer long.
That's right.
Red, white,
But
blue
no,
hot dogs.
yeah. Right. No, I mean, think about that.
Mhm.
250 years.
Right.
And we get to be a part of this story. We get to be a part of this history. I mean, it just doesn't get better than that. And, everything about it is hard, but everything that is worthwhile to you is hard. And so I'm just grateful for this.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you one question I ask every candidate.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'm going to give the floor to you. You talk about what you do when you go speak at townships and stuff like that, like the 3-minute thing.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Democrat?
Actually, can I pick from candidates or it has to be somebody in office?
Somebody in office.
Oof.
I know
Um,
it's I only have one, so I just like to hear your answer before I say mine.
Um, It's probably the guy from Pennsylvania.
Betterman.
Betterman. Yeah.
Betterman, yeah, but he's my guy too.
Yeah,
I mean, he's so real.
Yeah.
He works with both sides of the fence.
He does.
He likes to work with everybody.
Yeah.
He's more real. I like how he dresses.
Yeah.
By the way, we only got about let me see, about 6 minutes left. Would you like to take the floor and tell everybody what Jennifer Davis is going to do for us in America when you go to Washington?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you for letting me be here and be a part of this. I think it's such an honor to be a part of the American tradition of the democracy and a part of our great republic. So I am excited about that. What every person out there needs to realize is that when I am voting as one of the 435 constituents in Congress, I'm voting for every single American. That is that every single American gets the opportunity for that vote. And so it's really important, regardless of whether you're in district or out of district, that you are supporting the campaigns of candidates who can really make a difference. And, when I think about what I can contribute to what happens in Congress, there's really 3 issues. The first is fighting the voter apathy in this state. I think this is the single federal race that we have the best opportunity at winning. It's an open seat. We have the right candidate at the right time and the right opportunity, and that makes it ideal. We've got a messy primary on the Democratic side. They're all beating each other up. You mentioned that earlier. There's 8 of them. So it's really, really opportunistic. So it's so important that we get everybody engaged and involved with it. So fighting voter apathy is number 1. On that note, I am bicycling 221 miles around the exterior perimeter of the district to demonstrate the gerrymandering and show the voters how the politicians have stolen their votes. So please go on my website and join me. You're welcome to come bike with me. We actually have a lot of fun. So, that's the first platform. The second one is supporting the families. Families and freedom have to come first. And 1 in 3.7 households in this district are entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, solopreneurs, and the politicians have stolen your ability to create an American dream. And that's really what I am fighting for. Families know what's best for their children. Families know how to create their own opportunities if we just get out of their way. And so everything that I can do to support the family is really where I'm fixated. When we have strong families, we have strong communities. When we have strong communities, we have a strong state. And when we have a strong state, we have a strong country. And really, it has to come in that order. So supporting the families, and then, the families being the communities, getting engaged with every single civic leader is something that's really important to me. And then the third area, of course, is using my expertise. So where can I bring the most value to Congress? It's going to be around all of the things that I have spent my life doing. I started using AI in the early 90s. Blockchain technology is going to be formative going forward, and all of the regulations with AI and figuring out how to use AI in a way that is safe and productive, and protecting our First Amendment rights, and yet not legislating and stopping the ability to win the AI war, because it is a war. We are replacing the arms race of the 80s with an AI, with a data race today, and so. My white paper on how to build a digital dome is, my solution for, we've protected our country from sea to shining sea with an amazing military that my grandson's a part of. But what I want to do is protect us digitally, protect our data, protect our children with their devices. And when we can do that trifecta, when we can fight voter apathy and win a single seat in Illinois, when we can put freedom in the hands of the family and put people over politicians, over party, and over power. And when we can build a digital dome to protect our people, that makes this a lot better place. And it really gives us the opportunity to put United back into United States, which is my goal.
And how do they get a hold of you? One more time.
And to help be a part of this, it's votejenniferdavis.com, just like it sounds. That is our website. votejenniferdavis.com, and you can go there to request a yard sign. You can help us phone bank. We knock doors every single weekend on Saturdays and Sundays, and actually have quite a good time doing it. One thing that is unique on my race, or on my campaign, David, is we have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot, we talk a lot, we have fun. And so if you like to have fun, if you want to get out and be a part of something that really is actually making a difference, going to votejenniferdavis.com. Friday night, we are at Get Guns doing a fundraiser. We would love as many people to come out as possible. We can celebrate our Second Amendment rights and, laugh and have a good time and be surrounded by people.
If you've turned 65 recently like me,
we lost it, but
it's
you just
important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent.